Again, girls, look here please. In this question, what we are given? Mass, right? Time, initial speed and what? Final speed, and we are asked about what? Force. We are asked about the force. In order to find the force, I have to find the acceleration first of all, right? In order to find this force, I have to find what? The acceleration. The velocity equals 6I minus 8J U0 plus A times what? 5 times 5. Any question about this? Divided by 5, divided by 5. A equals 6 over 5 I minus 8 over 5 what? J. Clear? Any question? Yes? No. Add what?
Unit and acceleration.
You meant meters per second? Yes, we have to. Now, actually, units. Based on the information given.
Meters per second.
Yes, meters per second. Because this is what? Meter per second. So this is what? Meters per second square. Now F equals direct substitution. Mass is 4 times the acceleration, which is what? 6 over 5 I minus 8 over 5 what? J. This will be 4 times 6, 24 over 5 I minus 32 over 5 what? J. This is the force. This is what? The force. Okay?
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Can't we use the change in velocity over time with acceleration?
Yeah, definitely yes. Sure. Actually, Mina, this equation, right? It's a result of what? Of V minus V over T. But it's a rearrangement of this equation. Any question about how to find the forces? Okay. If you have finished, now I will go to exercise 6G, which this exercise talks about what? The forces. Okay, about what? The forces. Can I erase the board?
We can finish the day.
The forces, okay? 6G or this section, third dash, we'll talk about the forces. And you know, some forces or F net equals what? Mass times acceleration, right? The total force, the total or the resultant force should equal what? Mass times acceleration. Since we are using I and J notation, I have just only to add what? The forces together, I and J, right? I and J. And if it's in equilibrium, what is the value for acceleration? 0. So the total forces or the sum of the forces should equal what? 0. Okay? In order to see these things or to apply these things, look to exercise 6G question 1. 6G question 1. A. In this question, look please, a particle is in equilibrium, right? A particle is in equilibrium at O under the action of 3 forces, F1, F2, F3. Find F3 in these cases. We are given 3 forces. Any particle are influenced by 3 forces. F1, 2I plus 7J. F2, minus 3I plus J. And we are asked about what? F3. Since they are in equilibrium, the sum of these forces should be 0. Any unknown vector, what should I do? A, I plus BJ. any unknown vector, use any two variables to represent its component along I and along what? J. Since it's equilibrium, sum of forces equals 0. This is what? Equilibrium, right? What we have? F1 plus F2, F1 plus F2 plus F3 equals what? 0, right? Any question? Substitute now. F1, 2i plus 7j. F2 minus 3i plus j. F3 ai plus bj. This value is what? 0. This value is 0. Any question, guys? Okay, fine. Let's add coefficients of I together, coefficients of j what? Together. 2 minus 3, negative 1 plus b, right? Yani negative 1 plus a, I, right? 2 minus 3 plus a, plus 7 minus 3, 4. 7 plus 1, 8 plus b.
8 plus bj.
Right. J. 7 plus 1 plus b. That equals what? 0. For this equation to be satisfied, minus 1 plus a is 0. Or 8 plus b is what? 0. Okay, in order to understand this very well, I may write it like this. 0i plus 0j. Can I rewrite 0 this way?
Yes.
So, this should equal 0 and this should equal what? 0. Clear? So, what is A?
A is 1.
A is 1.
B negative A.
B is what? Negative A. So, the force F3 is what? I minus AJ. Right. I plus minus AJ. Clear? Any question? Yeah, do it please. Copy it please. In question 2, we are asked about the magnitude of this force. Right? In question 2, we are asked about the magnitude of F3 that we have found in question 1 and the direction or angle between F3 and the positive x-axis. Right? Look to question 2. We are asking question 2 about what?
Magnitude of F3.
Yes. 2. We are asked about the magnitude of F3 and the direction. How can we find the magnitude?
Coefficient.
Yes. Square root of coefficient of I plus coefficient of j. Right? It's a magnitude.
Root 65.
Yes. 1 square plus minus 8 what? Square. 165. Root 65 newtons. Don't forget, the unit for the force is what? Newtons. Any question? Then we are asked about direction or angle between this force and positive x-axis. I have to draw first of all. To find the angle, I have to draw. Where is I?
X-axis.
1. Let's say this is 1. This is 8 minus 8. Pay attention, please. Pay attention, guys. Look here, please. Look here. Guys. We have to draw this in order to find the angle, right? We have to draw this vector. This is 1, this is minus 8. Okay? Where is the vector? This is what? The vector that, the desired vector. Where is the angle with positive x-axis? This one. Angle enclosed, right? Angle enclosed. Here, what we have to do, theta equals tan inverse. An angle is already with x-axis.
8 over 1.
J over I. Coefficient of J over coefficient of I. Directly, without deep thinking, right? Without substitute what? Negative. 8 over 1.
82.9.
82.
0.9.
And 83. Right? 83 what degree?
We know.
below the x-axis. Okay? 83 below.
لازم يكتب below.
Yes. The x-axis. Okay, below the axis. Okay? Yes. Yeah, yes. If you are asked about negative x-axis, we have to take this angle enclosed between them. Right? This is the red one, the red angle, let's say alpha. It's between the desired vector and negative x-axis. Okay? Or negative I, or negative what?
So if we
I.
take it with a negative x-axis, do we still substitute y over j and then map theta here?
The same thing. But if you have to take, yes, you have to take an angle always with x-axis. So you can apply this theta equals tan inverse coefficient j over coefficient of I. Clear, guys? Okay, fine. And then let's do question. Question 3. We are given forces P, Q, R, and we are asked about what? Result. We are given 3 forces P, Q, R, and we are asked about resultant and acceleration. Resultant and what? Acceleration. The first part, P is
3i plus j.
3i plus j. Force Q is 2i minus 3j. Force R is I plus 2j. Also the mass is what? 2, whatever the unit, kilograms. Yeah, kilograms. Yeah. And we are asked about what? The acceleration. We are asked about what? The acceleration. Newtons, newtons, newtons. And the mass is what? 2. We are asked about resultant force and acceleration.
How did you know I know it's kg?
It should be mentioned. Resultant force, which means what?
MA.
The sum of the forces, right? The sum of the forces. The sum of these forces, P plus Q plus R. Algebraic sum for I and algebraic sum for what? For J. Clear? 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6I. 1 minus 3 minus 2 plus 2, 0. If you would like to write it. Should not be any, we should not write it, okay? This is the resultant. This is what? The resultant force. I just add the forces. I just add the forces. To do this, I have to add what? I to I to I and J to J to J. Any question about this? Okay, fine. We found the resultant force. Now I can find the acceleration by using this formula. F equals sum of forces equals what? MA. Sum of force is 6I. Mass is what? 2 times A. So A equals what?
3i.
3I. Meters per second, okay? Meters per second square. The unit for force is what? Newtons. Any question about this? About the vectors. Look here, please, guys. When it's mentioned that position of A is due, whatever A or B, the position of A is due north or south of B. What does this mean? Look here, please. This is the X, this is the Y-axis, or X-axis, sorry, this is what? The Y-axis. Let's say this is A. Okay? Let's say this is what? B. And if A is due north of B, يعني تكون A here, يعني the position of A either here or here, somewhere. Right? Clear? Do you north here? Do you south of B here? What does this mean? No, they have the same what? Yes. They have the same what? I. component, right? They will have the same I component. So we will write here coefficient of I for A equals coefficient of I for what? For B. Okay? Any question about this point? Hi. When the question mentions that position of A, north or south, this means the coefficient of I, the A equals coefficient of I, I mean the B. Coefficient of I of position A, right, equals coefficient of I of position what? B. The second note, if it's mentioned that the position of A is due to east or west? East or what? West of B. Okay, east or west of what? Of B. Look here, please. Let's say B somewhere here, right? So A, either here, somewhere, if it's due west, or here, if it's due east of B, right? Like A might be here or here, based on east or west. So what do they have now? Yes, they will have the same coefficient of what? Of J. Okay, they will have the same coefficient of what? J. So here, coefficient of J for A equals coefficient of J for what? For B. Any question?
No.
Okay. Now look to number 3. I will give you time to complete copying. Please pay attention. When it's mentioned that the position of A is due to northeast, south west, 30 degrees south of east. Alright, we have many several ways to describe the directions between north and the vertical and horizontal, or vertical x-axis and y-axis. Pay attention. Yeah, northeast, southeast, 30 degrees south of east, any of these forms. What we have to do, please, look here, please. Directly, what I have to do, I have to draw this vector. First of all, draw this direction. Draw what? This direction. Okay, a direction, this one. Okay, draw this direction. Then determine the angle with x-axis. Okay, determine the angle with x-axis. Then apply this formula. Plus minus tan theta equals coefficient of J for B minus coefficient of J for A over coefficient of I for B minus coefficient of I for what? For A. So plus minus depends where? On what? The quarter. And you know, the quarters, what do we have? Yes, guys, look here. The sign of the tan depends on what? On the quarter. Here, tan, positive tan, right? Here, negative tan. here positive tan, negative tan. So this sign will depend on the quarter that this direction lies in. Okay? Clear? And I will show you how we will use them all. Okay? Fine? Yes. Yeah, we will see. Okay, copy this quickly, please.
Is it all students take out?
Okay, girls. Look here, please. If I have two positions for A and B like this, look. Actually, for A, B is what? Due to what? South, west. This is what I say here. In one of these alternatives, yani A could be southwest of B, could be southwest of A, could be southeast, northeast, north-south at any angle, northwest at any angle. Any of these alternatives. Here we have many alternatives. Position of A, one of these alternatives with position of B, we have simply to use this one.
Okay. Position of A is northeast of B, صح?
Yeah, B, with respect to B, this
A
is what?
northeast.
Northeast, yes. For B, relative to B, relative to what? To B, this is what? North, what? East. For B, A is northeast. For A, B is what? West, south. Something like this, okay? Now the third one, the fourth one, the fourth note here, guys. A meet what? A meet B, right? A meet, collide, intercept, right? All these, what does this mean? This means the final position of A should equal the final position of what? Of B. If A meet B somewhere, okay, their final positions should be what? Should be the same. Should be what? The same. Clear? Okay. The fifth one, look here please. Let's say, it could be mentioned, A is moving in the direction of B. Okay? What does this mean? In the direction of B.
Direction, like parallel?
Exactly. What does this mean? A is what? Parallel or moving parallel, right? To what? To B. And you know how to find the parallel, right? We talked about that before. Coefficient of J over coefficient of I equals what? Coefficient of J over coefficient of I. Yani here, coefficient of J over I.
Of A.
Yes. For A should equal coefficient of J over coefficient of I for what? For B. Guys, if you use these notes, this will help you to make analysis for any question where in the past papers. Okay? And I will show you now how. Any question about 4th and 5th one? Yes.
كيف A is شو ما ينقص نقط ولا هم أشياء؟
A ما قلنا position A. Okay, thank you. Particle A. Okay? Particle A meets what? Particle B. ما قلنا position vector. Okay? Here, similarly, particle A, let's say, particle what? B. I'm giving to you now keywords that you can use them in order to solve any vector question. Okay? Clear? Yes. Home position. يعني أنا مثلا A here, هذا position vector ل A. Whatever the particle at this position. Okay? Get the point?
moving in the same software.
Okay, guys, listen. Okay, now we will start doing past paper questions about the vectors,
أي سنة؟
and we will apply what. Okay, I will select now certain questions in order to do, in order to apply these notes, and I will show you how to apply them. First of all, we will do the first one, which is on June 2011. June 2011. Pay attention, please. Okay, look here, please. Two ships, P and Q, are moving with constant velocities, so we have to use the equation for the constant velocity. Ship P moves with velocity 2I minus 3J kilometers per hour, and ship Q moves with velocity 3I plus 4J. Find to the nearest degree the bearing, right, on which Q is moving. Q is moving. Yeah. Okay. Okay? Well, if we are asked to find the bearing of movement, right? Bearing of A, bearing of movement of what? Q. Of Q. Pay attention. Of what? Q. Look here, please. Look here. In order to do this, what we have to do? We have to draw what? Which vector?
No, that's Q.
For Q only. We are asked about Q. Bearing of movement, so this means that we are asked about the bearing of what? Velocity. Why? Because the movement is represented by velocity, right? The movement is represented by velocity. The velocity for a cube is what? 3I plus 4J. Kilometers per hour. Now draw this. Draw this vector. 3I. This is 3. This is 4. This is the vector. Okay? Where is theta? Always take theta between what? The x-axis. Theta equals what? Tan inverse without deep thinking. 4 over 3.
تطلع 53.1.
53. Because we are asked about what? To the nearest.
That's tan inverse مش tan.
Tan inverse. Yes. Just a minute, please. Now, where is the bearing? Where is the bearing? This is the bearing. Yes, exactly. This is the bearing that we are asked. So what I have to write here, bearing equals 90 minus 53, which is what? 37.
0.37 غلط.
What?
0.37.
0.37, yes. Yes, girls, don't forget. Bearing should be always written to 3 digits. Yes, what is your question?
Ustaz, bearing of movement of Q, isn't it displacement?
No.
No.
What is the, look, movement is represented by which vector? Velocity. Right? So we have, yeah, okay, final position will change as a result of this, of the velocity, but actually, if you're asked about bearing of moving something, so we are asked about what? The bearing of what? Velocity. Clear? Any question about this point? Okay, fine. Now look to B. June 2000, sorry. Yes, I say it. June 2011. Question 7. Guys, question 7. Pay attention, please. LNB, what we are asked, or what we are given. At 2 p.m., right? Shape P is at the point with the position vector what? I plus j, which is initial. Q is at the point with position vector what? Minus 2j. Okay? Minus 2j. So here, for P, for what? Q. For P, the initial position for P is I plus j kilometer. The velocity for P is 2I minus 3j kilometers per hour. For Q, the initial position is 2j, negative 2j, negative 2j. With velocity for Q, 3I plus 4j. Pay attention, please. Pay attention now. Look here, please. At time t hour, after 2 p.m., the position vector of P is P. What is P now? Final position. And after t hour. Q is what? The final position of what? Of Q. This is always, regularly we have a question like this. Write down expression in terms of t. Right? In terms of t. A1, the final position of P with the final position of what? Q. In terms of t. In terms of what? T. Look here, please. We are asked about final position of P in terms of t, or final position of Q in terms of t. Clear? Well, since they are moving at constant velocity, so I have to use which equation? This one. R for P, R equals R naught plus Vt. Pay attention please to my substitution, please. Girls. R, the final position of P that we are asked to find, right? The initial position is I plus J. The velocity is what? 2I minus 3J times T. Times what? T. Because we are asked about to find things in terms of what? T. In terms of T. Clear? Now, what I have to do, look. I plus J plus 2Ti minus 3T what? J. Any question about this? Then I will rearrange this equation to have 1 plus 2Ti, right? Plus 1 minus 3T what? J. This is the final position of P in terms of what? T. In terms of T. By the same way, I have to do this for what? For Q. For Q. R for Q equals R naught plus what? Vt. Final position of Q equals R naught minus 2J plus V 3I plus 4J times T. Minus 2J plus 3Ti plus 4T what? J. This will be minus 2 3Ti, right? ما في هنا I هون. Plus minus 2 plus 4T J. This is R what? Q. This is R RQ. This is the final position of what? Add part B. Okay? Add part to B. Any question about this? This is the final position of P, this is the final position of Q. Pay attention please, pay attention. Girls, pay attention now. Now we are asked about what? PQ. Which is displacement, which is what? Displacement. How can I find PQ? Pay attention here please. This is RQ minus RP. Okay? PQ equals the final position of Q minus the final position of what? Of P.
هذا الجديد صح؟
PQ. Right, هذا you took it أصلا actually in vector صح؟ لما بنكتب AB بالأو level, right? Final minus initial, right? حتى ال displacement. إيش هاي يا بنات توعي؟ when you took a PQ إيش هاي فعليا؟ هي displacement. هي displacement between what? P and Q. This is the displacement between what? P and Q. Displacement between P and Q. So PQ final minus what? Initial. Displacement always final position minus what? Initial position. Can I find this? Yes. This is RQ. This equal. Look. 3TI plus minus 2 plus 4TJ minus, right? تبقى على minus لأنه هون هاي. إيش بنحط هلا؟ 1 plus 2TI plus 1 minus 3T what? J. Any question about the substitution? اسأل please. Okay. لا يعني مثلا يعني هو يعني مثلا have to substitute things together. هلا I مع I صح؟ و J مع مين؟ مع J. If I use this 3T1 minus
أستاذ بالزحمة عشان
ما
نكتب.
مثلا
لا أطلع من الموزع نكتب
طب أول شيء الآي.
Okay, and نعملها direct هلا. You can do it. It's يعني mathematical issues. Minus 1 minus T I
T minus 1 right?
آه.
Minus TR. يعني minus 1 minus TR.
This is what? P, Q. This is what? P, Q.
So it's there minus T. هذا 3T minus 2G. مش plus T.
Hi,
للآي.
that I, 3T minus
2T minus
2T, T plus T. Sorry. Yes, plus T, yes.
طيب بس هيك.
Okay? This is part what? B. This is part B. This is part what? B.
We didn't use the time صح ولا إيش؟
لا لا مو أصلا we are not given the time. In terms of T. هي طلعنا الفاينل بوزيشن ل P والفاينل بوزيشن ل Q وطلعنا P ايش؟ PQ. Clear؟ طيب. Copy this.
بس قلت كان لو في تي نستخدم اس.
Okay. In part C, what we are asked to find. Look. Find the time. Well, find the time. 1. Q is due north of P. Right? Find the time when Q1. When Q is due north of P. And as what we mentioned before, Q due north, position of Q, due north of position of P, this means coefficient of I for Q should be equivalent to coefficient of I for P. For what? For P. We'll apply the key rule that we have learned that. If Q, what is the coefficient of I? 3T.
Equals 1 plus 2T.
So here 1 plus 2T. So 3T in this way, 3T equals, T equals 1. 1 hour. So the time is what? 3 p.m. Why the time is 3 p.m.? Because the initial time that this motion is started at 2 p.m. After 1 hour, the time becomes what? 3 p.m. Clear? Okay. Look to part 2 in C. Q is, do you, north, west of P. This is like the node number #3. What I have to do? Look here, please. Yes.
Says you already have the angles, 45.
Yeah, 45, exactly. Northwest, pay attention please. Girls. Look here, please. Northwest, what does this mean? I have to draw this direction. I have to draw what? This direction. Okay. This is north, right? East, west, south. Where is northwest? In this way. This is the direction that we are given. So,
Negative timeline.
yes, here theta. That theta should be always with what? With the x-axis, which is 45. Northwest, always in angle is 45. Now here, tan here is negative tan theta. You know why?
That's a second.
Yes, in the second quarter, the tan is negative. Then northwest 45. It's only 20 degree of north, or 20 degree north of west, something else. We wrote these things before. Plus minus tan theta equals what? Coefficient of J for P minus coefficient of J for Q over coefficient of J of I for P minus coefficient of I for what? For Q. Girls, look here please. Hello, whatever P or Q, but if I started here with P in the numerator, in the denominator I have to start with P. If I started Q, I have to start here at Q. Okay?
Okay.
So here, minus tan 45, right? Minus tan 45 equals coefficient of J for P
1
minus 3t minus coefficient of J for Q
minus 2 plus 4t
over coefficient of I of P
1 plus 2t
1 plus 2t
minus 3t.
minus what?
3t.
3t. Now I have to, just to simplify this.
Negative
Minus 1 equals
3 minus 7t
3 minus
70
7t
over 1 minus t.
1 minus t. Okay?
تطلع
Now, cross multiplication. 3 minus 70 equals
t minus 1.
t minus 1. 8t
equals 4.
equals 4, so
Four.
t equals what?
Half an hour.
Half an hour. So the time,
2:30.
yes, would be 2:30. I will let check. Hello, 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Yes, 2:30
2 hours 30. No, 2:30 p.m.
p.m. Okay? Any question about this?
No.
Yes. Okay, it's a good point. This is not for our final or our initial. Yeah, it's for our final. But if you substitute here times 0, you will get what?
Orange.
Our initial. Yeah, this is the general formula for the position of what? Of P. Well, this is the general formula of position of Q in terms of T. Substitute here T0, you will get the initial position of P. Or if you substitute T0 here, you will get the initial position of what? Of Q, right? Any question? Yes. Why did we use the final position? Right? And actually, yes, I say that these are the final position. But if I substitute T0, I will get what? The initial position. This is the general expression for what? for the position of P and Q, okay? At any time, Any question about this? Okay, good. Now, Jan 2013. Listen, please. Listen. Jan 2013. A ship set sail right at 9 a.m. from a port P and moves with constant what? Velocity. The position vector of P at 9:30 at 9, sorry, 4I minus 8J. At 9:30 the position vector becomes what? I minus 4J. Find the speed of the ship in kilometers per hour. The initial position given, which is at 9 a.m. 4I minus 8J kilometer. This is the initial position, right? The final position,
I minus 4G.
if we're asked about speed, I have to find first of all what? Velocity. The time here is what?
Half hour.
0.5 hour. You know, this is at 9:30. This is at 9. This is at 9:30, right? This is at 9 a.m. This is at 9:30 what? a.m. So the time is what? 0.5 hours. Why? Because actually, look at the unit here. Kilometer per hour. Kilometer per hour. So the unit should be what? Consistent. Pay attention. Pay attention. So which equation should I use? This one. R equals R naught plus V times what? T. Since V is unknown, right? I have to assume it. AI plus BJ. Okay? To get used to use these things. R equals R naught plus V times T. R is what? I minus 4J equals R naught 4 I minus 8J plus V AI plus BJ times what? T. I minus 4J equals 4 plus 80, 4 plus AT I. Help measure, please. Hey. This is 4 plus ATI plus minus 8 plus BTJ. Time, sorry, we have the time, which is 0.5, okay, much better. Okay, we have to, we have the time. رجعت الدنيا صح؟ sorry.
فبحط سأحطها في
خليها في أسهل.
لا مش خليها.
أستاذ يعني ليش لازم أحددها؟
والله منط.
مبلى.
والله منط.
أستاذ مبلى. عم بعقدها. بحطها في.
Yes, I agree. أنا
طيب.
Jana approves, then it's fine. It's fine then.
Okay. Pay attention, girls. Please listen. Why I wrote V equals A plus AI plus BJ? Because we have to get used to write any unknown vector in terms of AI and BJ. Here, yes, I can write it as V, keep it as V, and I can find the answer. But in certain questions, if I don't assume, I will show you now how, if you don't assume the vector as AI plus BJ, you will not be able to do it. Okay? So this is just to get used only. This would be half A, and this would be what? Half B, right? And 4, look again, girls. 4 plus A times 0.5, right? J minus 8 plus B times what? 0.5, okay? Now, to satisfy this equation, I should equal I, J should be equal what? J. This becomes 1 equals 4 plus half A, minus 4 equals what? Minus A plus half B. A here equals
6, negative 6.
negative 6, right?
B 8.
B equals what?
8.
8. So velocity is
Minus 6i.
minus 6I plus 8J.
Kilometer per hour.
Speed, yes,
Magnitude.
magnitude of velocity, right? This is kilometers per hour. The speed is magnitude minus 6 squared plus 8 squared, 10 kilometers per hour. This is the first part. This is what? The first part. B, show that the position vector R, kilometers of the ship, T hours after 9 p.m. given by this. What does this mean? I have to find the final position in terms of T, or the general expression of the position in terms of what? T. Like what we did in the previous question, R equals what? R naught plus what? Vt. Girls, pay attention now. Pay attention, please. This is the final position, Jasmine. This is the final position, but what? At time what? 9:30. Now I will find the final position at any time.
And in terms of T.
Yes, in terms of T. R naught, what is R naught? 4I minus what? 8J. V, we got V, minus 6I plus 8J times. Okay? Clear? Now rearrange this equation to have 4 minus 60, right? I, 4 minus 60I plus minus 8 plus 80 J. Unit kilometers. This is what? The position that we have to find. Any question? Okay guys, look to part C now. Okay, look to part C. Yes. Which one? Yeah. This part, you mean this part. And then we need to write the position vectors in terms of T. The final position vector. Right? Why? Because here it's given that T hours what? After. Final position can be found by using this equation. R equals R naught plus what? Vt. The only difference here in why I should substitute T as, or I have to keep T as it is, and I have to find what the position vector in terms of T. Look to part C please, which is an important one. Pay attention. Pay attention. At 10 a.m., 10:30 p.m. ship is due southwest of L. Right? If it's southwest, what I have to do? I have to draw this vector, this direction. Okay? This is southwest. I have to draw this direction and determine the angle with x-axis, which is 45, and use this. Here we have positive tan theta, right? Positive what? Tan theta. Because this is in third quarter, the tan is positive. Positive tan theta equals coefficient of J for S minus coefficient of J for L over coefficient of I for S minus coefficient of I for L. Now substitute. Coefficient of J for S, this one, minus 8 plus 80. Coefficient of J for L, which is B, that we found here, 0. Coefficient of I for S, here, 4 minus 60, minus coefficient of I for L, which is A. Now substitute here the time 1.5 hour, because we started at 9, now the time is 10:30, so the time is 1.5 hour. If you substitute the time in 1.5 and make cross product, you will find that A is minus 9. So B is 0, A is minus 9, so the position vector of L minus 9I kilometers. we have to start now with January 5, another concept of using the vectors. In January 5, what we have here? Two ships, right? P and Q are traveling at night with constant velocities. At midnight, P is the point of position vector. This is the initial one. This is for P, right? The initial vector for P is 10I plus what? 20I plus 10J kilometers. This is the initial position of what? Of P. At the same time, Q is in the point of position vector for Q. The position vector of Q is 29I.
So that's 14I. Minus 6.
14I
Minus 6J.
minus 6J. Okay?
I think final position that he is on.
Yes.
3 hours.
3 hours later, and T equals what? 3 hours. The final position is 29 I plus 34 what? J kilometer. The ship Q travels with velocity 12J. Velocity 12J kilometers per hour.
At 3 hours.
At 3 hours after the midnight, the position of P and Q is what? PQ, right? And which means this is the final what? Position of P, final position of
Don't we have the final
Q.
position of P?
No, yeah, we have
هذاك
this
3
is
hours
3
later.
hours.
هذاك
3 hours.
بحكي لك T.
Okay.
Okay.
A, the velocity of P in terms of I and J. Okay? As what we mentioned before, please girls always assume any vector
AI.
unknown AI plus BJ. Okay? Just to get issues to get used these things. R equals R naught plus V times T. Why did they use this equation? Because in the
You
question,
have the initial.
yes, it's mentioned that constant what? Velocities, right? I can't use this equation with constant what? Acceleration, okay? I have to use the equation that with constant what? Velocity. R 29I plus 34J equals R naught 20I plus 10J plus V, which is AI plus BJ times what? T times 3, sorry. Okay? Now 29I plus 34J equals 20 plus 3A I plus 10 plus 3B what? J. I just here what? Add I to I components, or I coefficients to I coefficients, J coefficients to J coefficients. Clear? Okay. What we just simplify things now. 20 plus 3A, to satisfy this equation, coefficient of I should equal to the coefficient of what? Of I. Coefficient of J should equal to coefficient of J. Okay?
Okay.
Jasmine. 20 plus 3A equals 29. So A equals what? 3. Right?
B equal 8.
Clear? A equals what? 3. 10 plus 3B equals what? 34.
B equal 8.
So B equals 8. So the velocity is what now?
3I plus 8.
Yes, 3I, this one, 3I plus 8J. This is the velocity. Clear? Any question? B, please don't try, just pay attention. Find the expression for P and Q. Find expression for what? P and Q in terms of T. In terms of what? T. Again, in terms of T means we have to find the final position in terms of T. Final position in terms of what? Of T. Now, again, this is the final position after what? 3 hours. Okay? Now I have to find the final position of P after T hours. after what? T hours. R equals, for let's say for P, R equals R naught plus what? 3 times T. R equals R naught will not change, 20I plus 10J. Constant velocity, V equals what? 3I plus 8J times what? T. As usual, we have to simplify these like 20 plus 3T, right? Look, 20 plus 3T. I plus 10
plus 80.
plus 8TJ. This is the position vector of P. This is the position vector of P. Okay? Similarly, I have to find the position vector for Q. For Q, R equals initial 14I minus 6J plus 12J times what? T. What we did, R equals 14I, look, plus minus 6 plus 12TJ. I simplify things. I think these things are easy now. 14, right? Only with R. With J we have minus 6 and 12T. Any question? Okay. Now let's go to C. Okay? Which is the important one. Find the expression of PQ. Find the expression of PQ. As what we mentioned before, PQ, what are PQ? RQ minus RP. Yes, it's the displacement. This one, it's the displacement between P and Q. Displacement between what? P and Q. And the displacement actually, it's final position minus what? Initial position. Hey, final position minus initial position. Okay? This is what? The displacement between P and what? Q. Okay? Like what we did in the previous time. Now RQ, what is RQ?
49.
49. Now this will be 14I, okay, plus minus 6 plus 12TJ minus, look here please, be careful about the signs, okay? This part minus this part, which is what? 20 plus 3T I plus 10 plus 8T what? J. This is RQ and this is what? RP. This is RQ and this is what? RP. We have now to simplify it, okay? We have now to simplify it. So PQ equals, okay, copy this quickly please. Pay attention please. Again, for part C, okay? Part C, we have to find PQ. PQ again, displacement between P and Q. Always a displacement, final position minus what? Initial position. Final minus what? Initial. Hey. The final position RQ with initial position R what? P. Okay, clear? Now what I have to do, I have to find, or I have to simplify this. I have to simplify this. PQ equals 14 minus what? 10, right? 20, sorry, minus 3T. I, you know what I did? I with what? I, J with J. 14 minus 20 minus 3T plus what? minus 6 plus 12
T.
t minus 10 minus 8 minus 10 minus 8t j. Okay? Clear? Now 14 minus 20 negative 6 minus 3t I
14
Plus.
minus 16.
minus 6 minus 16 12t minus 8 plus 14 j. And what we have to show, look, we have to show that d square is 25 t square minus 92 t plus 292. What is d?
P and Q.
What is d? Distance. No. Look, d it's defined in the question. Look, d it's defined in the question as what? D. Now what did we find here? What did we find here? Displacement.
Can't find magnitude.
Right, excellent. To find distance, to find what? Distance, I have to find what?
Square root.
Magnitude, yes. In magnitude, if you remember, square root of what? Coefficient of I squared plus coefficient of j squared. Minus 6 minus 3t square plus minus 16 plus 4t what? Square. This is what? D, the distance. Take square for both sides. D square equals minus 6 minus 3t square plus minus 16 plus 4t what? Square. Now I have to simplify things, okay? I have to simplify things. 36 plus 9t square minus
Plus 36. Plus 36T.
36t plus,
Minus.
okay,
أول واحد.
36, this one square,
2
this one square, 2 times minus 6 minus 10 minus
plus 36.
plus 36t, yeah? What's the problem?
Minus.
Okay, sorry. Plus 16 square 196,
256.
16 square 215,
6.
6 plus 16t squared
Minus 128.
128t. Okay? I'll just expand what? The bracket, okay? Clear? Then simplify it. 25t squared, right?
Minus 92.
Minus
92.
92t plus
292.
292. Which is what? The desired what formula in the question. Clear? Any question? Last part, which is easy now. Weather conditions are such that the observer on P can only see the lights on Q when the distance between P and Q is 15 kilometers or less. Given that when T equals 1, the lights on Q move into the side of the observer. Find the time to the nearest minute, okay? When it's what outside what? Find the time to the nearest minute at which the lights on Q move outside what? The observer site. Basically, it seems that the question look here, guys, again. If the distance 15 kilometers or less, P can see the lights where on a Q or any observer on ship. P, صح? Can see what? The lights what? On Q. 15 or less. What does this mean? I have to substitute here the distance is what? 15. And we will find the values of what? 15. Okay? 15 squared equals 25 t squared minus 29t plus 292. This becomes 15 squared, 200.
25.
25. Moving to this side, this becomes what? 25t squared minus 92t.
تطلع 67.
67.
اه
Plus 67 equals 0. Okay, fine. Now, by using what? The formula, we can find the values of time, right? This is A, this is B, this is C. T equals B 92 plus minus square root of 92 squared minus 4 times 25 times what? 67.
Over 2 times 25.
Yes.
Negative 92.
My square. Right? Over what? 2 times 25. One of the values of the time would be 1. The other value is what?
25 over 67.
What?
قد طلعت؟
67.
طلعت مع 25 over 60.
Just a
ثانية
minute.
تطلع 67 over 25.
2.68, right? Just a minute, please. 2.68 hours, right? Because we are using what? Hours, yeah. To the nearest minute, right? We need what? To the nearest minute. This value is given in the question, eh? You know, given that when t equals 1, the lights on Q move into the side of what? Of the observer. Well, 2.68, the lights now outside, or beyond this time, the light will be outside what? The observer of P. To convert this to minutes, because we are asked what to the nearest minutes, 2.68 times what? 60, right? Which is 130.
160.8.
160.
160.8.
161 minutes. Yes. Where? Okay. Here, listen, girls, again. Here, we have an observer on P. This observer on P can see the lights on Q, ship Q, right? Observer on ship P, lights on ship Q. The observer on ship P can see the lights on ship Q if the distance between them 15 kilometers or less. 15 kilometers or less. Given that, you know, at t 1 hour, when the t is 1 hour, the lights of Q now into the sight of the observer.
It's 15 or less.
Okay, exactly. We need to find the time to the nearest minute when the lights were outside the light. Will be outside. Yeah, what does this mean? You know, time, right? Between what? Between 1 hour and what? 2.68 hour, right? At 1 hour, the lights of ship Q gets into the side of P. After 2.68 hours, right? The lights of Q now will be outside the side of what? Observer. طلع 2 times the 15. 15 الماكسيمم صح؟ 15 شو هو؟ الماكسيمم, right? 15 maximum. So what we will have? We will get 2 times, right? معناته هذا التايم راح يكون when it's into the site وهذا when ايش؟ out of the site.
مش إنه both into the side.
Okay, يعني between them, between 1 hour يعني خلينا افهم كذا. هاي الشب هاي انا على كيو انا بي صح؟ وشب كيو. بعد 1 hour انا صرت اشوف اللايتس.
بس مشي plus 292 مش 67.
طب بس دقيقة خليكي معي، بس افهمك هاي البوينت. انتبهوا معي بس بليز، girls. هلا عند 1 hour انا بلشت اشوف ايش؟ I started ايش؟ observe the lights on Q. From 1 hour to 0.68 hours I still ايش؟ عم بشوف اللايتس ايش تاعون Q. After 2.68 what does this mean? This means now انه distance more than mean 15 صح؟ More than what? 15. You got the point?
No.
يعني if you substitute this time عوض 3 hours هون عوض 3 hours بيطلع التايم معك ايش؟
Also,
تطلع distance
the last.
The last, yeah, exactly. هاي اللي هي الانترنال، اوكي؟ هلا بعد عوض هون تايم 3 hours بصير distance more than 15 فاقول لك حاولي 2.7
بس بطلع شايفيته.
اللايت هدول ايش will be outside ايش؟ The site, yes, outside the site of what? Of P.
less than or equal to
بالضبط. لسه بس احنا ناخذ الماكسيموم اللي هو مين؟
15.
15. اذا بدك تعمليها inequality برضه اعمليها بس بالاخير بدك ترجع you have to solve this inequality as ايش؟ as quadratic. Okay?